Welcome to Serendary Education Channel. Please, my grade 8, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Here you will find all the theory content regarding robotics or digital technology. And then again, you are also going to find practical content. Right. So today we are going to look at term 3 study checklist so that you'll be able to go through whatever that you have studied for the entire term. Right, please hit the subscription button if you have not done so. Now, the first part that you need to know is we are going to focus on system technologies, that is definition of computers, different examples of computing devices like the hardware and then software. Then we also look at digital citizenship. Right. So now the system technology, we will focus on the CPU in computers, how do they operate? And we all know that a computer is an electronic device that processes data to produce what information. So here the key word is electronic device. And what does it do? They produce or they process data in order to produce what information. So that is the simple definition of a computer. Now, so when you are defining it, make sure that you have these keywords. And then when you talk about the computer system, it could be your smartphone that you have, your tablet, your laptops, your desktop computers. All these computers, the components inside those computers are the same. In other words, they have CPU in it. And then if you take these modern cars, also the gearbox also has the CPU, which looks like a computer system. Right. And then when we talk about CPU, which stands for Central Processing Unit. Don't forget CPU stands for Central Processing Unit. And then it's a hardware component which executes instructions and control the system operations. In other words, it's the main brain of the computer. So the CPU is the one that does all the calculations, all the thinking, everything that goes into the computer is the CPU that does all those processing. And then we also have another device called RAM, Random Access Memory. And then we have the hard drive. Now, when we talk about the RAM, which is the Random Access Memory, let me write it in full, which sometimes we call it memory, not the memory card that you normally see. This is the memory. And then what does it do? They store the data temporary. In other words, they store active tasks. Whatever task that you are doing, they are kept on the RAM. So right now, whatever that I'm doing, this document that I'm typing here, they are kept temporary on the RAM. Now, the moment I go to file and then I save it, if I go to file and then I save it, then it's going to be kept permanently on the hard drive. So in other words, the hard drive stores data permanently. Now, if you have not saved it, it is on the RAM. But the moment you save it, it goes to the hard drive. So you must take note of that. So if you get a question that says differentiate between hard drive and the RAM stores data temporary, and then the hard drive stores data permanently. In other words, unless you delete it yourself. Now, let's look at the hardware and then different software. Now, when we talk about hardware, it's the physical part of the computer. The physical part of the computer that you can touch, and then also you see. Example is the keyboard. So the keyboard that you can touch, the monitor, the hard drive, the mouse, all those things that you can see and then you can touch it. The physical part, we call it hardware. And then the software is not physical. They are the programs or instructions that are running on the hardware. The set of instructions that tells the computer what to do. So in other words, they are the set of instructions that tells computer what to do. Or you can also say instructions running on the computer. So they are the same. So when you are asked to define what a software is, they are instructions running on hardware. And then the software, we have two types of or three types of software. So basically, we can say we have three types. We have the system software. Well, we have two types, sorry, system software and application software. Basically, there are two types of software. We have the system software and application software. Now, the system software, they are the type of software that run and manage the hardware. Example is the operating system, like our Windows and Android that we use, Mac OS, or you can say Android, iOS. They are the system software. Then we also have the utility programs like antivirus, file manager. They are all part of the system software. Then when you talk about the application software, this is a type of software that help we as a user to perform tasks. So our daily task that we do every day, or the daily tasks we do, the software that allow us to do, we call them the application software. A typical example is every day we type our work, every day we do calculations, every day we go to internet, we play games. So all these softwares are called the application software. Now, so you must know all these examples. I also forgot about these devices. We have the input device and we have the output devices. Now, when we talk about input device, they send data to the computer, like the keyboard, our mouse, our scanners, they send data into the computer. And then the output device, they display or they show the results on the screen or on a paper. Example is the monitor, our printer, speakers, and then we also have projector. Then we also have storage device. They store or they keep data permanently. So the storage device keep data permanently. An example of storage device are hard drive, flash drive, our CD, compact disc, DVD, and the rest. So these are the storage devices. And then we have the processing devices. The processing devices, they do all the analysis and then the processes. Example is the CPU, and then we also have RAM. So you must know these categories of hardware and then software. Now, using a keyboard, you must know the delete key and then the backspace. When you talk about the delete key remove the character after the cursor. Backspace remove before. So on your keyboard, you see delete key and then you also see um, the backspace. So I'm going to show you a typical example um, on the screen. You can see that um, keyboard. Right. So I'm going to show you a typical example of the keyboard. Then you will know some of when do we use the backspace and then when do we use. So as we can see here, this keyboard has the backspace. You can see delete key and then the backspace. So the delete key, when you press it, like I said here, um, it deletes characters after the cursor. So when you talk about the cursor, here's the cursor. So if I press delete key, it's going to delete, you see, it delete after. And then backspace delete before. So that's the backspace. And then, so when you press backspace, it deletes to the left, and then the delete key deletes to the right. So that's the difference. While the backspace deletes to the left, the delete key delete to the right. So if I click here and I press backspace, it will delete to the left of the cursor. This is the cursor. And if you press the delete key, it will delete to the right hand side. So take note of these two. And then different shortcuts that allow us to do several things, like saving something, saving work, like Control S we use for save, Control C. So you must know this shortcut. If you press Control and then S is to save, and then Control key plus C is for copy. Then Control key plus V is for paste. And then Control key plus P is to print. So we have the saving, copying, opening. Control O is to open. So now if I press Control O, so now it's going to help me to open something. Control key plus O is going to help me to open. Now if I say Control V, that is to paste. So you must know these shortcuts from the keyboard also. And then the key groups, we call the functional groups. Then when we talk about function keys, now you see on your keyboard, these are the function keys. We have F1, F2, F3, up until F12. That performs several functions on the computer. Now, alphanumeric keys, letters, and numbers for navigation. So you must know that each function key has a specific work. So these are the function key. You can be given a question whereby they ask you to label some of these. So this is the functional keys, and then this is the delete key. This is the backspace. Then we also have the navigation keys. That's the right arrow, left, down, and then up. We call this navigation keys. Now, if you want to click on these function keys, you need to press the Fn before you can press any of these function keys. You must also know them. And then we also have the numeric keypad, which has only numbers. We call them numeric keypads or the numeric keys. You must know them also. And then the control key, the alternate, the shift keys, and then the escape. You have to know them on the keyboard. Right, now let's move straight to digital device and internet. Now, digital devices, that means like electronic devices. Non-digital devices are the mechanical ones. So the digital device, they are electronic device like smartphone, like the tablet, like the laptop, and others. Desktop computers, smartwatches. Now, non-digital ones are the mechanical or the analog. We call them manual ones. So like our manual clock, the wall clock that you have, they are non-digital ones, some of them. And then the web browser. When you say web browser is a program to access website like Chrome Edge. So you can see Chrome here. If I want to go to a certain website, I need to click on Chrome and it will open for me. Then when I click, then it will open a new thing from so that I can search for any website. So that is it about the um web browser. Example is the Chrome, Edge, Firefox, Internet Explorer, and others. Now, ISP, which is Internet Service Provider, this is a business or a company that gives internet access, but they are not for free at a monthly fee. Example is MTN, Vodacom, MWeb, and the rest. So these companies give you access to internet and then they charge you the airtime that you buy, the data that you buy also. And then also sometimes in our homes we have uncapped Wi-Fi that we pay, our parents pay every month. So that is what we call the internet service provider. Then the USB, Universal Serial Bus, which is the port for connecting and transferring data, where you connect your cables and then you send um, data from your flash drive or you copy onto your flash drive. Then the firewall, um, we call it, it's a software. So the firewall is a software or hardware that block unauthorized access to a network. So you can see, those of you, you will all see fire the 40 client or something. If you are trying to go to a certain website and they block you, sometimes the firewall that is doing that. So you have to take note of that. And digital citizenship and cyber safety. Here, responsible way of using devices. Now, you have to respect privacy, avoid illegal download, and communicate politely when you are using computers or online. You must use also strong password, mixing them with uppercase, like your password that you use to access your Wi-Fi. You must use strong ones so that people cannot easily break into it. You have to mix uppercase and lowercase. You must add numbers, symbols, something that is difficult to guess. Don't use your name, your surname, or your date of birth. And then cyberbullying. You have to be very careful when you're online not to bully anyone. So using digital form or platform like Facebook and others to harass or threaten someone. Example, creating rumors, sharing private info. Some of you have been bullying people through WhatsApp and others. That is bad. It's against the ethical or the responsible behavior that we have to preach or do whenever we are online. And digital footprint. Now, these are the trail of information you leave online. Your posts, your likes, your comments that you do online, your sharings. You have to be very careful. Otherwise, at some point in time, it's going to come back and then hit you hard because some companies or businesses or even some of the embassies, they check your footprint to make sure that you are not doing something wrong or bullying anyone. So you have to be careful about that. So basically, these are the structure or the study tips that you have to know before you prepare for your test. Thank you for your precious time. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Bye.